That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet, when you could not prove anyone right or wrong.
All the expertise was contained in the people involved with the conversation. I'm Peter.
I'm Cecil, and I hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, that don't sound right, send us a comment. You're one of us.
And
Spectrum did?
Spectrum knew it was fraudulent. They closed it, and they just moved on. Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, a podcast about talking. We're your co-host. I'm Peter Billman.
I'm Cecil Davis.
And we are just here trying to have a conversation without Google or fact-checking each other. Those things can so easily kill the conversation.
Someone begged me this week to allow them to Google. I said, I'm not stopping you from Google. It is okay to Google.
Are you, you're somewhat of the Google police now, huh?
Evidently they perceived me that way, but I was not, but it did kill the conversation when we.
Well, had the conversation run its course?
It had not.
Well,
it was just getting started.
Why did you let that happen?
I didn't feel like I had any authority.
Oh, really?
Authority was being conferred on me.
I think you have the authority
to stop.
You need to start living into the authority.
We need to mention the fact that you've been happy for about a week.
Yeah, approximately really 128 hours.
I've never heard you use as many adjectives as you use had you listened to the new episode once it had been run through an AI editor.
Yeah, the AI editor cleaned up the noise, cleaned up the pauses, seamed us together. I'm wondering if any of the other listeners noticed, because I am blown away.
I don't know.
And let me tell you, the audience, that he has this Cheshire grin on, and he tells me that's as excited as he gets.
I'm happy that you're happy. I
cannot believe you're not as happy and excited I am over the improved sound quality.
I am very happy.
However, I will say that no one's really mentioned it to me, so maybe
nobody's besides you. I can tell it though. I can tell it between the episodes.
Night and day. It really is night and day.
But maybe nobody's listening that closely to us.
No, not anymore. Or they're driving around with their windows open. This is just kind of background noise, or they have a noise on their car that they want to drown out, so they put us on there. And they might start hearing that noise again because we got rid of a lot of the background static.
Or our sound quality's been so bad they quit listening.
The numbers might indicate that, but not the 20,000 downloads.
No, we're up there. By the way, this is Kid Bourbon. Ezra Brooks, 99.
Yep, it's a new one. It was my Father's Day haul. If y'all been listening, you know that on Father's Day, on my birthday, which is the worst day to celebrate a birthday, is December 16th. This was my half birthday, June 16th.
Oh,
right?
There you go, yeah.
And I'm thinking about making the permanent move.
To what?
That my birthday's on June 16th. Yeah. Or just Father's Day.
I think that's fine.
I think it's just Father's Day.
Well, then you're going to run into the whole Christmas, Father's Day, doubling up on your gifts again.
But only from a very small part of the population, right? What's my birthday?
Yeah. Your birthday is now June 16th.
So it has been decreed.
Evidently I'm the Google police, so maybe I can be the birthday.
Why don't you move the birthdays around?
Yeah. Go ahead.
That's good.
Happy birthday, Peter.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I guess I don't know how old I am because I'm not really the birthday.
So you have got, I don't know what the episode is tonight.
It's going to be a good one, I think. So, it all started me starting to get some calls on my cell phone.
Sure.
And it's the phone calls were originated from Greensboro. It on your caller ID, it'll tell you the city it comes from.
Yeah.
So it was coming from Greensboro. And for the most part, I wouldn't answer it. But it was Greensboro, so I went ahead and answered one of them. And they said, hello, this is the office so the name of the company that was calling me was called Credit Control. But they didn't tell me the name of the company. They just said, hey, we're doing a check on an account in your name for Spectrum Mobile. Mm-hmm. And they said, are you John Beelman? I'm like, yeah, I'm John Beelman.
And your first name's John, isn't it?
Yeah, my first name is John.
I forget that.
That's right. Oh. So I knew there, first of all, that they had my records, that they had my legal name.
Right.
And then they asked me about an address and can you confirm the city, state, and zip code? Well, the address they gave me was not my address.
Uh-huh.
It was not an address I've ever lived at.
Okay.
And so I immediately asked, why are you asking? And so we want to verify some information about your account for Spectrum Mobile. And I said, well, I don't have an account for Spectrum Mobile. It sounds like someone will open one in my name. And they kind of said, oh yeah, it does sound like that then, if this is not your address.
Right.
I said, okay, well, I need to call Spectrum Mobile and just take care of it.
Yeah.
So I hung up, didn't think anything of it. A couple weeks later, I get another phone call, same place, different phone number, but still area code and the first 3 digits and the first digit all from Greensboro. Okay.
Okay.
So different phone number, but almost the same. And it's a Greensboro number. Same thing. Hey, we're calling to verify some information about your account.
I'm all in on this story now.
All right.
Okay.
We're verifying some information on your account. I said, oh, well, you already called me, but I don't think I can tell you that city, state, and zip code. I don't think I should tell you what's this about. And then they said, well, can you tell us the last four of your social?
Oh, well, that's okay.
Like, oh, now I'm starting to smell the fish.
Right.
Something ain't right.
Something doesn't sound right.
And so I said, oh, okay, no, I'm definitely not going to give you that information, but I'm going to go ahead and call Spectrum Mobile and get to the bottom of it.
Right.
Because the first time I hadn't, I just kind of blew it off.
Yeah.
So I called Spectrum Mobile and I asked them, hey, this has happened. This company called me. At the time, I didn't know the name of the company. They just said like credit control or something. And maybe they didn't even say they didn't even say the company. They're just saying they're doing a credit check or a check on an account open in my name. So I called Spectrum Mobile. I said, is this legit? Does this sound legit to you? And they said, well, let's see if you're in the system. Because I had not ever been a Spectrum mobile account holder. Never. Okay. I've never had a Spectrum.
Right.
And in fact, I was with Time Warner Cable.
Okay.
And I'd switched companies before they changed the Spectrum. So I had never been in the Spectrum system.
Gotcha.
And so I gave my name and I said, well, what phone number are you under? Well, they called me at this number. So I gave my number and they said, well, we don't have you there. And they said, what about your zip code? I said, well, my zip code right now is so-and-so. And they said, well, we don't have you there.
Right.
I said, well, can you look up the address, maybe the address?
Did you have the address they gave you?
I didn't at the time. I said, but I asked, can I be in there under some other address? They said, you could be, but we don't have a way of looking that up. I said, really? You can't look up my name and look up? We have to have at least 2 pieces of information, your zip code and your name and your address or your name and a phone number. Right. We need to have those pieces of information, at least 2 to get to this. I said, oh man, I don't have that.
Right.
But what do you think? What do you think's going on? She said, that doesn't sound legit to me. And then I mentioned them asking for the last 4 of my social. Yeah. And they said, well, hey, we would never do that. And, I think you've seen that from other companies. Like, we would never ask you for the last 4 social of your last 4 of your social. So I said, okay, well then, all right, well, maybe they'll call back and I'll get the number. Or I'll get the address. I'll get the address. And this time I was ready. So I guess it's been about 3 weeks. And I got the call today.
Oh, good.
It was a Greensboro number again. And I'm thinking, these are my guys.
Right.
So they called. Said, hey, yeah, we're looking for John Beelman. Doing a credit check, account check on a Spectrum Mobile account. Can you verify? Is this John Beelman? And I said, yes, it's John Beelman. And they said, so I have you at this address. Can you confirm the city, state, and zip code? I said, why do you want to know this? They said, well, we have some information we need to get to you and check on. I said, what information do you have to get to me? Why can't you tell me now? Right. He said, well, to protect your privacy, we need you to verify your city, state, and zip code. I said, why are you concerned about my privacy? You already have my information. You already know my stuff about me.
Did they tell you the address?
Yeah, they told me the address, but not the city, state, and zip.
Just the street?
Just the street.
Okay.
And it was actually a street and an apartment number.
In Greensboro?
I didn't know.
They didn't know.
I didn't know they knew, but I didn't know where this address was.
Right.
I hadn't heard of it, right? So then I started asking them, I said, what company is this?
Right.
And they told me it's this company called Credit Control LLC. Right. I said, what do you guys do? What are you guys doing? We're verifying an account for Spectrum Mobile. So why are you doing it and not them? Because I called them and they couldn't find me in their system.
Right.
And they said, well, if we could just get your city, state, and zip, we can get all this information out on the table. I said, I think you're a scammer. I said, oh, and the guy said, oh, no.
Right.
We're legit. I mean, if we wanted to scam you, we could do other things.
Right.
I said, well, that doesn't make me feel any better.
No. If you know what the other things are.
And I said, I'm not giving you any information. You need to tell me what you need to know and what you do know. Right. And you need to let me know right now because I'm not giving you any more information. Or your other option is you stop calling me. Right. I'm on the do not call list and you just leave me alone. And I want to hear from you again.
What did they say?
They said, well, first of all, we're not subject to that. We don't have to go by the do not call list.
Okay.
And I said, I don't care. I'm on the do not call list.
Are you still calm, cool, and collected at this point? Or are you getting heated?
I'm starting to get, I'm probably amped up a little twice as much as you're hearing me about.
Are you like drive-through amped up?
Drive-through.
Like the way you get at a drive-through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're out of lemonade at the McDonald's. I'm about ready to drive away. They don't have my donuts. I'm about ready to leave. I said, so eventually, and he kept on saying, he kept like, no, we just verify your address and we can get this all cleaned up. I said, I'm not doing that. So I said, take me off your list. I don't want to hear from you again. And I hang up.
Right.
So then I look up the address. Mm-hmm. The address is in Ohio.
Really?
Yeah. It's in Findlay, Ohio.
Okay. So and there's no other duplicates. Like it didn't hit. No. It was Main Street. It was 5 Main Street.
The name of the avenue was like Cole, COU.
Okay. Something very unusual.
Something unusual, and it was an apartment number.
Okay.
Right. So I mean, it went right to it. This apartment number and everything. Google Maps. I saw exactly where it was. So I called Spectrum Mobile. Right. And now we get to the fraud department. Now we're talking. Now I got some information.
Okay.
And I said, here's my zip code. What's going on? She goes, yes, there is a John Beelman who opened an account with this zip code.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what it was. And she said, and
how did they get your number?
Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. They knew it was fraudulent. And
Spectrum did?
Spectrum knew it was fraudulent. They closed it and they just moved on.
Huh.
And she said,
well, how did Spectrum know it was fraudulent?
Because this happened at the end of last year. I had a credit freeze and a credit lock. So they have to do some research if they're going to open an account in my name. Anyone who wants to open an account in my name has to get in touch with me.
Gotcha.
Or they have to get in touch with the bank.
So that's why they were getting in touch with. That's why Credit Check was getting in touch with.
Well, I don't know if they were getting in touch because here's the thing. Credit control is a debt collector.
Huh.
They are not checking my credit.
Right.
They are not wondering about my account. They have a debt to collect. But what Spectrum Mobile told me was that, look, that was in 3 months. We just wrote it off. We did not send it out for debt collection. I don't know why a debt collector is calling you. And I don't know why a debt collector had your number because my actual phone number was not in the Spectrum system. So Spectrum never sent the debt collectors after me. So I still think it's a scam.
It sounds kind of scamish. Do we need to go to Ohio? So we've got the address.
Okay. But this is what that doesn't sound right.
Okay.
Have you been downtown and eaten at the Bull Tavern on 4th Street? It's where King's Crab Shack used to be.
No.
So it's called Bull Tavern. It's kind of a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got good food, nice atmosphere, great hamburger. The guy opened it up with the proceeds of filing suit against telemarketers.
Really?
Yeah. He earned over $200,000 filing suits against telemarketers.
How do you do that?
Well,
we could finance the podcast.
This is what don't sound right, Cecil. He did it by simply writing those companies a letter, exposing them for what they were doing, and saying you're in violation of the
Telemarketer Act,
the Telephone Consumer Protection Act of 1991.
Sends them a certified letter.
The demand letter begins by stating the time and date he allegedly received a solicitation call from a representative offering a new low-cost final expense program, and that the misrepresented numbers shown on caller ID was of a pattern matching the first 7 digits of my phone number, a practice known as neighbor spoofing, which I'm sure you know is illegal.
I didn't know it was illegal.
It's illegal.
I get these calls a lot.
It's illegal.
Wow.
It's straight up illegal. So
mine are usually, when I get them, they're usually offering me a small business loan.
Okay. This sounds
Yeah. No, so keep going.
this sounds like a cash cow now. So the way it works is he simply writes a letter stating the facts of what they did.
How does he get their address?
So that's the thing about it is you've got to spend time with him.
Okay.
He actually talks to the people trying to sell him something.
Okay.
So this won't work on like a scammer just trying to get your bank account number.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that. It's legitimately someone trying to sell you something, but they should not be selling you something.
Gotcha.
They use the robocall. They use neighbor spoofing to get you to pick up. You've never given them permission to call you. And they're trying to sell you something. And sometimes they even misrepresent what they're trying to do.
Do you have to be on the no-call list?
Yes.
First of all.
Yes.
So you have to confirm you're on the no-call list.
Yes.
Because I get one from Mount Airy. For months, it was at 3:00 every day.
Yeah.
It would come through Mount Airy, and it was the same folks.
Yeah.
And they were trying to give me like a business loan, like $500,000 in business loan or something like that.
Write it out, man. Do you know the name of the company?
No, I got to where I wouldn't pick it up.
So start picking it up. Get the name of the company. Figure out where they are.
Well, you've got the name of your company, right?
I got the name of
Are you going to write a letter?
So here's the thing. So this guy. So this is an article when he was being interviewed because he raised. I mean, look at this picture here. I'll show you.
For our viewers, he is frantically scrolling to find a picture. Our viewers, our listeners. One day we'll have viewers. Oh, those are the checks that he's been sent?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the checks.
Are those, like, is he going through a lawyer to get these?
Nope. Sometimes he's actually filing suit.
Okay.
But most of the time he says, he writes a letter to them stating what's going on. And he says, I'm demanding $10,000 in damages. And you need to give them to me or I will file suit. And when I do file suit, I'll do it. I'm entitled to triple the amount of damages.
Was this in the paper?
This was actually in the newspaper.
Which you still get.
Which I still get. But the thing is, I told the family about this, and like, you remember that story? Like, yeah, I guess I do. Because when this story was written, almost 2 years ago when he opened up. So the thing that don't sound right is that this guy was successful of getting over $200,000 in these checks, and he bought a restaurant and started a restaurant because he always wanted to do it.
That's incredible. But you've got a good start here. You've got the first letter.
So mine's a slightly different challenge.
Okay.
These guys aren't telemarketers. And so they were right. They're not subject to the Telephone Consumer Protection Act of 1991.
You got to wait until someone calls you then.
But they are subject to another act.
What's that?
Which protects consumers against predatory credit debt collectors.
Okay.
And that's what they're doing.
Right.
There's a list of rules that they're supposed to follow in order to do this. First, they need to announce who they are, and they're supposed to say what they're doing and what they're collecting for. These guys never did that.
Can you write a letter then?
So this is what I did. Yes, I can write a letter. Okay. I definitely can write a letter. But the thing is, they are still using neighbor spoofing, and that's $1,500 a violation.
Really?
$1,500 damages to me.
Okay.
They've done it 10 times, and I got record of all 10 of their calls.
Oh, wow. Did you keep the records?
I got the records. I've been keeping them. Well, it's on my phone. You know,
so 15,000.
You got the call history, right? Right. I got the call history. I can see, and they're all Greensboro numbers, and you can look them up.
$15,000.
And I'm going to ask them for 50 plus them ask them for the $1,000 they owe me for being a predatory debt collector.
Is that all you can ask? For
it seems like that's all I can ask.
Right.
If I could prove that I was, mentally or, emotionally distraught.
You seem distraught. In my opinion, you're distraught.
I'm actually excited.
Man, I hope you get this.
So we're going to try it. So y'all stay tuned. I'm going for it, man. I'm going. So here's the fun thing though.
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out how do I craft this letter because this guy didn't do it. I bet you I can go down to go buy a burger and ask him to give me a copy of the letter. Could you give me a copy of your letter? Yeah. But so I guess what I did?
AI.
I asked ChatGPT. So I told GPT the exact situation, and I said, write me a letter demanding these damages, and they wrote the letter. And this is before I did a little more research about the debt collectors not being subject to this particular law in full.
Right.
And then I said, does this change if this if the caller is a debt collector. ChatGPT immediately came back and says, yes, it does, but they're in violation of this. And they still violated the neighbor spoofing. So you can still get them on this. And by the way, here's the new letter you need to write.
Oh, wow. Hey,
wrote the letter for me, man.
Yeah. No, that's why AI, just how AI improved the podcast. He writes the transcript mail for us.
Does it really? Where does the transcript go?
It's a button that you click on Podbean. You can have the whole transcript of the show.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I wonder if we need to upload that to the website.
Yeah, it's there. I'll show you where it's at. Well, man, I wish you the best on this.
I'm telling you, man. So, I mean, the thing is, one of the things he said is he doesn't always get the full amount, right? Usually he gets a call and they settle on something.
Okay.
I'll settle for $5,000.
So is $10,000 what you can ask for from a neighbor spoofer?
Yeah, $1,500 an incident.
Oh, an incident. That's how he got up to $10,000.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, he probably had a lot of different calls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I need to start keeping up with these.
You should keep up with these.
I used to get one every single day.
I mean, Bunny used to get several in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would drive us nuts.
Well, first of all, I need to confirm I'm on the do not call list, which I think I still am.
So you go to, the easy way to do it is you go to donotcall.gov. All right. Do not call, all one word, .gov.
Right.
Go in there and they're going to ask you for your phone number and an email associated for when you registered.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you might have to remember,
We might be putting scammers out of business here on that. That don't sound right.
At least telemarketers, and maybe putting some money in our listeners' pockets.
Well, it could be, or our pockets. We could finance the podcast with this.
Well, what do we need? What do we need now?
Nothing. Really.
Nothing. We got this amazing filter. Yeah. We don't even need these microphones. We could probably.
That was quite a story. You had me on the edge of my seat for the entire story. Occasionally I'll mess with one of them when they call.
Yeah.
Just messing around. I'll say, well, how much can I get? And they're like, 500,000. I'm like, oh, that's great. Yeah. I'm like, do I have to pay it back? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, that's going to be a problem.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. It's like, so that's, I'll need to get their address from them.
Do it, man.
Yeah.
Do it.
The only thing is, I think sometimes I get these calls on my work number. And I bet my work number's not on the do not call list.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I need to get them on a cell phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if you got texts, if that counts.
Text count. They're not allowed to text you either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll text a number.
That's also a violation.
Because I'm getting those too. I'm getting texts for the odd thing is I got a text about selling some land that I don't own, but somebody in my family owns. And it was very detailed, but it wasn't detailed enough. Like there was enough details missing that I knew it wasn't the real deal.
They probably just went through the deeds.
Yeah, they just went through the deeds.
Or the GIS, the geographical information.
But it's strange that it came to my the text came to my cell for that. Very odd.
Your personal cell?
My personal cell.
Yeah, okay.
The world's getting very interconnected.
Yeah, well, it's going to cost them.
Yeah. I wish you the best. I hope you all the money in the world on that. That's pretty cool. I didn't know he opened the restaurant with that.
Yeah, he used that money. First, he bought a bar, and then he sold the bar, and he moved to Winston and bought the restaurant.
Well,
maybe we should have. You know what? Maybe we should have I wonder if we can go interview him.
I'm sure. Well, that's a fascinating story.
Maybe we should go interview him. Get the real. I mean, I just told you the real story. I mean, it's right here, but
we can.
It'd be fun to have him on the air. Yeah. Hey, maybe if I cash in, then we could say, hey,
here's what I did.
This is what I did. You inspired me. Let's have hamburger.
Go buy a burger and sit him down for the talk. All right, man. It doesn't sound right, but you've come to the end of that. Don't sound right. The money making edition.
Well, before we close, we want to thank everyone for listening. If this is your first time and enjoyed the conversation, would you consider hitting the subscribe button on the platform you listen with? Also, if you're a longtime listener, please give us a rating and leave us a review so others can find us and join the conversation.
I did not know where you were going with that story.
Isn't these are the best?
Yeah. That one really is, because it's got my mind thinking now. That Don't Sound Right is a production of TDSR Podcast in conjunction with Camel City Studios. I am your co-host and no longer your sound engineer. I have lost a title.
No.
Yeah. No, the AI is our sound engineer.
You still go in there and you cut and splice things together.
Well,
okay.
Yeah. I mean,
and you make sure that check mark on use AI is checked.
I do check the check mark now.
You are the sound engineer.
I feel like I'm the assistant to the sound engineer.
Well, you are doing, can I say, You're doing a fine job.
I am now.
Good.
It's made me happy that you're up.
I'm still picking that up a little, but not full.
I was really excited. But you know how it is.
Could you not believe it?
I can't believe it. But you know how it is when you do something like this. I spent hours one night putting in a new stereo system in my truck. And then I called Christy out there and I said, can you hear the difference? And she's like, yeah. And then I was like, but wait. I said, let me push this button. I pushed the button and she's like, yeah.
Maybe.
So I was a little hesitant.
It's like whenever I change up my recipe for grilling hamburgers, I'll do a new spice or something. Everyone will say, I like the other one.
Yeah. So I think it sounds great. Peter is your other host and web designer. Go see the website because he does put a lot of work into that. It is not AI generated like my work. Camille's our barista. She did some work for us tonight.
Yeah, it was a good cup of coffee. Hopefully I wasn't slurping it too loud on the air.
Emily is our graphic designer, and I used one of her new designs.
Is it on the banner? You put the banner up?
I put the banner up on my LinkedIn account.
Thanks, Emily.
Ella does our Instagram. Giorgio tests our merchandise, and we might have some new shirt designs here in the very near future.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
And Brent is our international brand ambassador. And as always, listener number one is
Scott.
So until next week, keep talking.
And stay curious.